We are going live now. Come on, Facebook. Come on, tap in. We got to talk about something. Lord, we're getting smacked. We got to talk about that. Nah, y'all didn't get smacked. But we got to talk about that game. Go Facebook. Hey, if you already here, like and share this podcast, all right? Come on, let's tap in, guys. Let's tap in. We live. Got about a minute and 30 seconds to get in here. Come on, be a part of this discussion. Hey, if you're a Loyal fan, we're sorry, but still, get in here. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about this. Got like 40 seconds left. Come on, let's get up in here. We're getting ready to start. If you're already here, go ahead and like and share this podcast. We got about 15 seconds. We're getting ready to get started, guys. We ran out of time. If you ain't here, you getting ready to miss it. What's up, guys? What's up? This is your boy William Washington, Willie Dubs on Twitter, so you can catch me there. We're getting ready to get into it. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to start the show to talk about Stoops and Texas A&M. What happened? It's crazy. It's crazy 24 hours. Also, we got the rivalry that happened finally. Everybody was talking noise about Brom coming back in Kentucky. He's just not having it this year. It's supposed to be different. 5 years in a row. Loyal fans, you got to answer to what happened on that. All right, then we can talk about some basketball as well. KP, what is it going to take for him to get these guys on the right track? Yeah, they won, but it was a struggle bus. So let's talk about that. Kentucky basketball. Is your boy, is he on the right track? Wagner, he looked good. He got SEC Freshman of the Year. We're going to get into it. And we got some new people on the panel. Well, we got a new person on the panel today. Y'all give a warm introduction to the Bishop Coach. We're going to call him Tyrone Johnson. What's going on?
What up, fellas? What's up, man?
What's up?
Good to be here.
Yeah, he's part of the Kentucky fan base right there, guys. Part of the Kentucky fan base. As we go up, we're going to go up to his son. Huh? The Kentucky fan base.
The who?
The Kentucky fan base. There you go. There you go. His son, Phil, what's going on, man? You on mute. You on mute.
My bet every time, man. I'm trying to be
Every
respectful,
time.
you know. But listen, what's up, everybody? Y'all know what it is. Cast by 90. Cast by 90.
Cast by 90. That's his patented deal. Cast by 90. All right, and Perry. What's going on, Perry? Got an improvement with that. Right. You got an improvement with that background, man. Then you got the hat on as well. Sporting your little. I feel you.
Always got jokes, y'all. What's
hey, it ain't. Hey, oh, all right, Jack Harlow. All right, Jack Harlow.
I'm not gonna do the finger thing. It needs to happen, but not from me.
You ain't gonna throw the L's up.
All right, not from me. The MOG, not no sir.
He said Deacon can't do it. All right, hey Richard, what's going on, man?
L1 C4, hella high water. Louisville first, Cards forever.
All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. The name of the game. We keep scoring here, Cats versus Cards. We got the Cats. The scoreboard has you guys on the right and the Cards on the left, but our Cats fans is over on the left and the Louisville's on the right. So anytime you make a good point, have some good facts, you can have a unique perspective. It doesn't have to be mine. You guys are going to hear this ding. That means you gained a point. You know, if you didn't, you might have lost a point. Hey, so you got to be on your P's and Q's, all right? Each subject, we get 7 minutes to discuss each subject, each person. We're going to give them a minute to talk, all right? Then we're going to go on to the next person. At the end of this hour, the team that has the most points, they get the last 2 minutes. They can trash talk the other team all they want. They can do whatever they want those last 2 minutes, all right? We got it? All right, I assume we got it. All right, so we put our seven minutes on the clock. All right, so the first subject we're gonna be talking about Mark Stoops in Texas A&M. These last 24 hours was crazy. PJ, tell us what happened in your perspective, man.
Man, I think Texas A&M was trying to see what that reaction they would get if they were to hire Mark Stoops. In my opinion, I think that someone leaked on purpose to try to see how the fan base would react to getting Mark Stoops. And I think that it wasn't what they thought it was, even though, as mentioned, we talked about previously, that it was still some approvals that needed to be done. But I think it was enough to where it was like they weren't going to go that direction. Plus, I also think that it would have cost more money to get Mark Stoops versus who they got.
Yeah.
And so I think at the end of the day, both sides seen the green light and decided to just stay where they are, and so now we got Mark Stoops back here at UK.
I will say that I was watching a Paul Feinbaum show, and the guy that was leaking the story at Texas A&M, by the way, he's like another Matt Jones, but for Texas A&M. And he was basically saying that he got it from a good source inside the program. That they paying all this money to fire Jimbo Fisher, and they're thinking they're going to get another coach on the bargain. And so when Mark Stoops' names comes up, this is even separate from the fan revolt. It was more of, hey, he's actually at the top of that budget that we wanted to pay. Actually, he's pushing the budget. Mark Stoops is already making $9 million. He's one of the top earning coaches in the nation right now. So, of course, in order to get him, you probably don't have to match that number, but you're going to have to get close, and that's exactly what they was doing. And that's something that he said that even one of their boosters was like, hey, wait a minute now. That's not what we're trying to do here. So that might have been part of it. I personally believe, just reading the tea leaves and reading the timelines of different things that happened after that guy said that, I think Matt Jones' spin has a little bit more credibility in it, in that there might have been a breakdown on both sides. It wasn't just all one-sided, and it wasn't all just fan revolt. Nope, we're not going to. So, and it could have been that Mark Stoops seen it coming and decided, hey, I don't want this, so I'm going to say no before things go any further. So it could be something like that. So here's the question for you guys. with this fiasco, with this happening, Coach, does that put extra pressure on Stoops next season?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
We're past the point. We're past the point of 7-5, 8-4. We are. The expectations for the fan base is higher now, and you're seeing by the reaction. I mean, nobody was really sad that he was going to go to Texas A&M. We already had a list.
Yeah.
They already had a list, and there was talk previously before all of this leaked out that maybe Stoops has reached his climax, that we need somebody else to take us to the next level, and so the fan base really was not. They really were not upset about him leaving. We thank him for what he did. We'll put you a statue on campus, but now we want what Georgia has. It truthfully, everybody wants what Georgia has. Louisville wants what Georgia has. They want national championships. Just winning the conference is not enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But Richard, like, what do you think? Is it more pressure on him now? This time he's coming back. The fans, they're going to want more, and I think Coach was spot on that. We're past this point.
More pressure. It's going to be more pressure, but I don't understand why the fans think they are entitled to more. Because I looked at y'all's record over the past 20 years. Stoops is the only one that's brought y'all a double-digit winning season. He's done it twice, 10-3 or 10-3 seasons or whatever. He's the only one in the last 20 years, and that's as far back as the stats on ESPN will go. You all are accustomed to 5-7, 6-6, 7-5. I mean, you all have 10 losing seasons in the last 20 years. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure, but I don't understand where you all think how you all going to get to that next level. You're right. Everybody wants to be Georgia, but the difference between us and a team like Georgia is who they are. History, blue chip, the background recruiting, everything that's been culminated over Georgia and Alabama for the last 100 years.
All right, so Perry.
I'm going to stand on my argument, but that's all I have.
All right, so Perry, so here's the question then. Because everybody knows how Kentucky basketball fan base is. We don't accept nothing but the best. Do you think that some of that, if we can call it entitlement if we want to, do you think some of that is leaking over to the football fan base?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, it's a classic. We see what everybody else has. We want what they got. Mm-hmm. We want a king. Like all the other countries around us. That's a story. But anyways, and so we want what everybody else has. But we talked about it earlier. I mean, if you don't have a good recruiting backyard, you're not going to go far. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond just saying you want to bump up and move up your recruiting. The moment you have a slip up, let's say you're bringing in a top 20 class this coming year. So now the pressure is on to develop the guys that came in before those guys to take it a step further, and the onus is on you to out coach talent. This is something that it's hard to do, is getting your guys coached up in the SEC. I can understand if UK was like those Boise State teams, the one that beat Oklahoma in the bowl game that one year. I can understand if you guys had maybe 2 or 3 or 4 tough opponents, but night after night, day after day, you're facing the country's best coaches with an abundance of talent. And so you're going to need more than let's just get a top 20 class and then out coach everybody to get to a national champion.
Well, I think that brings up a good point, though, because I think that a lot of people are going to say in order for Kentucky to reach where they want to be at, they're going to have to recruit better. I mean, that's just it because we're bringing in top 35 recruiting classes, and it sounds good when you go, compare it to the nation, but when you compare it to the SEC, you're still the bottom of the barrel. I mean, you're above Vandy and maybe Arkansas and maybe Missouri. Yeah, that's about it. So I mean, that's an issue right there. So PJ, what do you think that in order for us to get to that next level, who are we going to have to bring in as far as transfer portal? I know the recruiting class is just about already wrapped up, but what do you brought an interesting name already? What are you thinking about?
No, yeah, no. I think that for Kentucky, it is really, we know when it comes to high school recruiting, there is an obstacle. There's not just the SEC teams. There's Ohio State. There's Michigan. There's USC. There's Oregon, who is the Nike factor, right? You have all these other obstacles. The key for Kentucky in making the next step is really the transfer portal. It is what it is, and it's actually the complaint that Stoops had. Right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
If he retracted and said, or really he said that Kirby Smart and him had a conversation. He said he wasn't throwing off. It came off wrong, but to me, it still came off wrong. That he wasn't throwing off on Kentucky fans saying we need more money to buy players. What he was saying was, at the end of the day, they have the resources to tap into, get those attractive prospects, and we're going to have to kill in the transfer portal in order to have a really good chance.
Yeah, I mean, because he said that they talked for a good 15 minutes or so, and he was like, "What was considered cheating?" He said, "It's a compliment now. It means you got good players. They paying." So yeah, hey, coach. So when we talk about what we need in this transfer portal, I think the top thing is probably going to be quarterback. Do you think that we go and look for another Devin Leary type, which I think Will Rogers in Mississippi State is, or do you want something else? What's your preference on that?
I want a quarterback that has arm talent and leg talent.
Yeah.
The game has changed to where these pocket passers that are really not mobile, it's that's the old guard. That's the old way. You know. And now let me say this real quickly. Stoops has been building the program the right way. The next step now is we got to start getting more 4 stars than 3 stars. And then once you get more 4 stars, then you try to get a couple of 5 stars until you can start having 5 stars everywhere. It's a process. It's harder in the SEC than it is in the ACC. It just is.
Yeah.
He's been building the right way, but now with the transfer portal, now things have really changed. NIL, you've got to come up with a different strategy, or you have to implement a different strategy so that we can catch up with everybody.
It's definitely a different monster with the NIL. Go ahead, Richard.
And I got something to say about the records later too.
All right.
For Georgia for the past since 1990, we got to talk facts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead though, Richard.
Okay. Well, the one thing you all have that I can agree with is the transfer portal is the only tool that the schools like Louisville and Kentucky have to try to compete. But I think where you were trying to compare what we want to be like Georgia, UK wants to take to the next step to get like Georgia. The athlete still has to have the desire to come to UK. See what I'm saying? Yes, you all are in the SEC. Yes, you all are better than the ACC. You all can recruit probably better than we can slightly at this point. I don't know how that's going to play next year because now that we generate better success. But as far as the SEC is concerned, there's a pecking order. If a kid wants to play in the SEC, Kentucky is not at the top of his list. He's looking at Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, your big name schools. And then after he can't get into those, he'll probably look to the Big Ten or he'll look to ACC top teams first. Then he'll circle back to Kentucky. And that plays the same way in the portal. Yes, the portal is giving a tool to those kids who still didn't get into those schools that they wanted to get into. And there's still an avenue for Kentucky to try to elevate. But now that you guys have more competition in the SEC, I still don't see how Kentucky can get better than 7-5, 8-4, 9-4, whatever. I mean, I seriously doubt y'all have another 10-win season unless the SEC completely collapses. And then, of course, it'll either speaking of which, that one 10-win season you all had was during the COVID. So
No, it wasn't.
Now, I'm not taking away from
No,
Kentucky being better, this and that. I'm just saying that's what the uphill battle you have to go through. And for your fans to think that, hey, we need somebody better than Stoops, you're going to get disappointed. You get rid of him, who else is going to be able to take you to that next level? And how are you going to get to that next level?
Hey, I got to take a point away for one thing that you said. When Kentucky had their 10-win season, it wasn't during the COVID year. COVID year, Kentucky went 5-6. Really, that was actually our worst.
10-win season was 20. Hold on.
COVID was 2020. COVID was 2020.
You all's 10-win season was 2021, so it was 2019 through 2021. Everybody was still in COVID, really. SEC.
So everybody was in COVID in 2019, Richard.
Wait a minute.
Don't make me take another point away, Perry. He's killing y'all in this game.
It is a 10-win season because that year Louisville went. Hold on, wrote it down. That year Louisville went 6-7.
We way over time too.
I'm not trying to downplay.
Take another point, please. Take another point.
Stoops was the only one that got y'all there. He got it for y'all. No other coach has done it since then. So, like I said, you all saying get rid of him. He's the only one that's got it for you, and he hasn't got it since. So.
All right, hey, I'm Perry. I don't even know where to start at. Do you want to respond to that?
A couple of things that I just want to point out to you, Lathan. Make sure you're watching the chat real quick so you can catch some cues from us. I really don't have a lot to add to this conversation. I'm not high on UK. I'm not low on UK. Y'all are what y'all are. This time last year, I was hearing we about to bust out, we about to break out, we about to blow up, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't happen. So I look forward to these talks every year. Yes, we might lose. We might lose to UK.
What is he doing?
I'm so glad that that's all we're gonna do. I'm so glad.
What was your name again? What's your name again?
My name is Big Daddy.
You say what?
His name is.
This is
guys. Don.
The Bishop.
Is that what his name is? Okay.
This is how we get off the rails on Cats versus Cards.
Finish what I'm gonna say
I'm
before
just
the peanut gallery
comes
in.
in. I can be objective about Louisville and UK. I can't stand Louisville, but I can be objective about Louisville. Y'all can't.
I was being as objective as I possibly could be.
No, here's the thing.
Without telling a lie.
And so you're saying that since Stoops got us here, that we should be dissatisfied and not want anything higher. What fan base wants that? Nobody.
Oh, now you put people to the big screen now.
Nah, I just noticed what you guys said. No, I mean, there's a lot of craziness that just happened right there. Threw us off the rails a little bit.
I'm not downplaying. I'm not telling y'all don't. Everybody wants to have greatness. I'm just telling you all, for your fanhood's sake, take them blue glasses off for a minute. You all are saying Stoops is it's time to get somebody else. We're tired of this, and we blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here, on what earth do y'all think that y'all deserve no more than anybody else?
So,
well, I know where y'all coming from. I know where y'all coming from, and I understand you want more. You want more. I think really what Richie's trying to say is you may want more, but you're not entitled to more with what you have to go.
Who's entitled?
What you have to work on.
Y'all not entitled.
Like, hey, we need to get.
We're not the
I can agree with that point.
We're gonna get a championship. We're not the ones saying we want what Georgia's got. I mean, we don't have to verbalize all of that.
ACC takeover. That's what y'all been hollering for the last 7.
Hey, bro, I can't help it that we closer to Georgia than you are. I can't help it. Maybe
can I get go ahead. All right, hold on. Go ahead, PJ.
Y'all won y'all's national championship this Saturday.
Go ahead, PJ.
The only championship y'all gonna win.
Go ahead, PJ.
Before I talk, wait. Let me start off with that. To the last comment, your coach is the one who said this is our Super Bowl. He didn't say that. That came from Louisville, not us.
He didn't say our national championship.
Wait.
Wow.
He said it's a Super Bowl, right? That came from him, not us. Okay, back to the main point. All right, what pretty much I look at it like this, and this is a loose example, so do not try to take it exact and take it somewhere else it doesn't need to go. When we got basketball games being played, right? Rick Barnes, when he was at Texas, he had decent success. He had nice success, but there was a point in the time where it came that it just was what it was. He left Texas not because he didn't leave Texas because he was doing so bad. Texas was ready. When he left, Texas was like, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We thank you for what you was doing, but we're trying to see if it's possible. It's a gamble, right? If you can make the next step. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where UK fans are. You look, even if you look at any other program that has done better eventually, right? There is a building block, correct? There's a building block. So now what we have is a building block, right? We're thankful for what Stoops has done. We're not saying like we're like grateful that we remember those 2-win seasons, right? But what we're saying is it is okay to look forward to the possibility of going to the next level. And the only way you're going to do that in our eyes right now, based off his philosophy and the way he moves, is probably through someone else coming in and taking what he has done and building onto that. Right. It is not like, we hate Stoops. That's why I said people, they're not really mad that he's back, but they weren't really upset that he was leaving either. It's kind of one of those things. Same thing with Texas and Tennessee. They weren't mad.
Hey, that's how we felt about Satterfield. Nah, we were ready for him to go.
Why?
We were ready for him to go.
We thank Cincinnati every day. Thank you for taking him off our hands.
I think that's where
I gotta give both of y'all points on that.
Thank and pray for somebody at the same time.
I think you can celebrate. You can celebrate someone. You can celebrate a success, but also feel like it's possible to do more. Right? As you mentioned, the NIL, both of our schools, right? That's where we're gonna make a splash.
Yeah.
You could to look forward to like, hold on, listen. Hopefully, we can get someone else in here that could do even a little bit better on high school recruiting, build on what he has built already, and then add that splash of the transfer portal. And you don't know what can happen. We see it across not just the SEC, but just different teams where they're not all built with 5-star and 4-star guys completely, and they're still able to compete, right? So philosophy's changing, all these different things. Like that's what you're looking for. It's not saying that.
So
I want to make a comment on NLI.
Go ahead and make your comment on NIL.
I'm just real interested to see how NIL is going to pan out, because one of the observations I always make is just because you raise your recruiting does not mean, and you is in general, this is not at UK, this is even at UofL. Just because you raise your recruiting doesn't mean everybody else is going to sit still. It doesn't mean the big boys are just going to be satisfied with, we got our guys and we're not going to go after. Because you look around and Georgia got a couple of high-level recruits, on the NLI. Alabama did too. Alabama bled 5 stars. Apparently those 5 stars weren't 5 stars. Some guys went to FCS, the FCS level. So, I mean, it's real interesting to see how NLI, because it seems like it'll be this ultimate game changer. But at the end of the day, the have-nots are still going to be the have-nots. They just going to have a little bit more. And the have-mores are still going to be the rich dudes on the hill. They just not going to be as rich.
Well, when you say that, I think that the schools like the Kentuckys stand a better chance than they do in regular high school recruiting, because let's face it, a lot of times at high school recruiting, the bells and whistles of the school, the logos, is what captures, the recruit, especially initially. And if they're not that mature, that's pretty much all that they look at, to be honest with you. But when it comes to coming out of that portal, you done been there, done that. All right, now I'm looking for substance. Now I'm looking for something a little bit more. The last 2 quarterbacks Kentucky gotten, they wanted to be developed as a NFL quarterback. The DJU that left Clemson, he said, I want to be developed as an NFL quarterback. Hey, I got it from a great source. He would have been at Kentucky if we didn't fire Scangarello, which I'm glad we did. But where did he go? He didn't look for another logo. He went up to Oregon State. So, I mean, you're going to have a lot of those that comes out of that portal as well. So Kentucky stands a better chance. Louisville stands a better chance, depending on what the player is looking for as well. And so I think that right there is what programs like ours have to hang their hat on when it comes to the portal. You might not kill it in regular recruiting, your traditional recruiting, but transfer portal, I think that's where you're going to have to kill it at. And a lot of these players that Bama's and the Georgias and such, they're landing, they're the cream of the crop. But there's also going to be those other ones like a Ray Davis that's like, hey, I just got to get on the field. Can't fool with all the foolishness so I can make it to the next level.
Hey,
so you're going to have that too. Go ahead.
The way. Now look at this. When Stoops took over UK, okay, there was no transfer portal like we have now. You had to build it by your recruiting and developing players.
Mm-hmm.
Braum came in at the right time for Louisville. He signed 24 transfer portal players. 24.
Yeah.
So you can build a team. You can build a team overnight, okay? Because the transfer portal now has changed the way you build teams.
Mm-hmm.
I love the approach and the strategy that Stoops and them had. Okay, they built it correct way, but the transfer portal at NIL has changed the game, and so now schools like Texas A&M, watch the Texas A&M expect a championship. Look at their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they get donated to them compared to Kentucky and Louisville. It's apples and oranges. Okay, they can buy a championship if they want to. Now, Jimbo
Miami tried to. They didn't make it.
Recruits. He was getting recruits. He just didn't do a good job of coaching them. So, like you said, Perry, it ain't just the recruiting. You can get some recruits and still not field a good team. The chemistry wasn't right for Kentucky. Take Josh Allen. Nobody wanted Josh Allen. He was a 2-star. By the time he left Kentucky, look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it we've lost because of the transfer portal. We focus so much on it. We lost the chemistry part of being selective about the players that you bring in and that atmosphere that you create.
Yeah.
I learned that from 2012 University of Kentucky, 2013, 13 Kentucky. Y'all bought in all them guards and
after that championship game, basketball.
Don't start now. Don't start now.
I'm just giving an example.
A whole lot of stats.
But
so okay,
just to close it up real quick. I'm sorry, Lee.
Go ahead.
Colorado didn't make it. What did they bring in? Like 40 players?
Sick. I thought it was
they didn't make it. Miami didn't make it. Miami bought in a bunch of transfers also. So did Florida.
Mm-hmm.
These guys got left by the wayside. So that's my thing about the NIL portal not always being the answer. That's all I'm saying.
It's a combination. Right. I agree with you.
I agree with that. So, okay. So leading into Kentucky's, it was still a disappointing season, even though, let me reset my clock.
Bathroom break. Hold on.
He's got to take a bathroom break.
Brown is still running.
He's silly. All right, so let's lead into, because we're talking about the chemistry and everything that happens with the transfer portal and recruiting, meshing it all together. Seeing that Deion Sanders and Colorado 4 wins that happened. Kentucky's season, it was still a disappointment, even though we beat our rival. That lessens the sting, but it's still a disappointing season because you looked at this team and you were like, "Hey, we can probably eke out 10 wins," and here we are sitting on 7 wins. Coach, do you think that it was that the chemistry right there? Do you think it was no leadership? What do you think? What happened?
Hey, I'm glad you said that because I was talking to a former player who told me he told me this 2 months ago. He said, "Hey man, the problem with this team, the problem with this team is that they don't have the leadership.
Gotcha.
The leadership is not there. One of the issues is when you go to the portal and you bring in plug and play, it's hard for somebody to come in that 1 year and they be the team leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. You have players that left here last year, because of graduation, that were there 3 or 4 or 5 years. They were, people listened to them. So we should have beat Missouri. We should have beat South Carolina. Okay, those are 2 games right there that we should have won.
That takes you to 9 games right there.
We pulled it. And so I can say the 9 game, and I forgot who else we lost to that. because I got so discouraged and mad at. But I know those two right there stick out. Like, man, we should have won those games.
I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
That was the wrong one.
Take the point away.
Hey. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
But we did beat a top 10 one-loss team, though.
Hey, it's the greatest winning y'all. It's the greatest winning
So, all right.
We know
on
the
I
board.
feel it. Yeah,
All
it's the
of your
greatest winning
wins
y'all ever
against
had.
ranked opponents have been against Louisville. I mean, come on now. Is that really something to brag about?
Let them have it. I said
All of our ranked wins has come against Louisville. That's not correct.
I'd say 70%.
That's another point. That's another point, Will. Took
Against
another
ranked
point off.
opponents.
Florida
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
I
Florida was
wish
ranked when we
we
beat
could
them.
take
All right.
that
All right.
off y'all, but y'all hardly
Hey.
get the season
Hey,
ranked.
let's continue the conversation. Hey, PJ, what do you think?
lost
What
y'all
happened?
Super Bowl.
What happened in this? What happened with this team this year, man?
Yeah. I think it was a failure this year for sure, 100%. Even with the win at the end of the season against the rival, yeah, it's fun. Like I said, rivalry is a rivalry, right? Like we have fun with that. But this overall season was a failure. Because we're trying to take that next step, right? And you do look on paper, you look at the team and you say, okay, you line them up, look at them on paper, you look at the schedule. And if you watch even the games, I'll say outside of the Georgia game, of course, and the Alabama game, every other game we had a shot. It was mental mistake here, breakdown there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mental shift here. Even the Tennessee game, right? We lost by a touchdown. Really, people forget that was one really important part to that game. A horrible call that was made, and it flipped. And our team, it speaks to leadership, right? Being not there. Like, it took that. It took one thing to go wrong that it was like they would just melt down. And so I think, as we mentioned before, when I say transfer portal using it, I'm not saying you go get a whole team from transfer portal. You just got to find the right fits.
That's true. All right, we got to move on a little bit because we spent a lot of time on Kentucky.
Throw down the flag. Can I throw a whistle?
Go ahead. What's your
holding of the conversation on the host? 1 point from the spot of the foul because you've been talking about UK football for 35 minutes. That's a penalty against.
You taking time out of this podcast for that? I thought you was talking about something. No, all right. We talked about Kentucky football too long. Let's go ahead and change gears a little bit because we have
Brown is still running.
the biggest story. he's right, y'all. We had the biggest story.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Marion Brown, the guy
I
who
know
ran
his
the
name is
100
Davis. I thought it was a running back named Davis.
Get your father his medicine.
I don't know.
man.
no
Get him his medicine.
Hey, there was a coach. If people don't realize what coach is talking about is there's a guy by the name of Marion Brown that had a kick return and Louisville was nowhere close. I think on the highlights he was about the nearest person was maybe 20 yards.
He was
At
on
that-
automatic speed on that.
He was go. But anyway, let's switch gears. Hold on, we're gonna talk about it. Let's switch gears. Switch gears a little bit. So let's talk about this game because whatever was wrong with Kentucky, not all of it, but most of it fixed itself for this game. And so Louisville goes down for the fifth straight time to Kentucky. Was it 38-31? What happened to Louisville in this game, Perry? Because I will agree with you. Louisville had this game won and they lost it.
Basically it. I mean, I was told, I didn't see the video. UK came and stomped on the Cardinal bird. The players did. And so there was a scrum at the beginning of before the game started. Mm-hmm. That's what it took was to get our guys off of their game. That's how it's worked at work. It's called psychological.
That means they have no mental toughness then.
They didn't have no mental toughness.
I don't know
I'm
about
not
that.
going to take nothing back from that.
I don't know about
Rich is ready to debate that.
He'll clean up what I say, which is good.
It's all it takes for the chicken bucket.
But in other words, we made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes. The momentum, everything. We had taken the air out of the stadium on the first drive in the third quarter. Brown got his return, and then we took the air out some more by going on another long drive. We could really do no wrong. We really had a lot of control in that game. But the problem is we didn't play perfect. We had penalties, SEC officiating. We had penalties.
Y'all played great.
We had guys
getting great.
We didn't play great. You don't play great and have 3 turnovers. We couldn't overcome the 2 turnovers, back-to-back turnovers.
We can't help it because we hit y'all too hard. We can't help it.
Well, yeah,
Coach, let him talk. Let him talk, Coach.
You right.
I'm sorry.
You right.
I'm sorry.
That's what you say.
You good?
You know, our quarterback basically did not secure the ball. He didn't get hit hard. The guy just reached over and knocked it out of his hand like a cat.
Oh, perfect.
Down.
He
Falls
coached,
out on the ground.
to drop the football.
But anyways,
hey, I'm sorry.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But anyway,
he came on just for you, Perry.
Anyways, I commend you. I know he did. You know, I know he did. He's special like that. No, he really came on to sell his kingdom wares. That's what he came. You got to sell the kingdom wares.
Go ahead, man.
But anyways, I commend UK because they seized the momentum and they carried it. Even when we retied the game, we had our chances. Just a lot of mistakes. I don't know from a UK perspective if you guys made a lot of mistakes, but somebody like me can go in and see different things that were happening out on the field and was like, yeah, that's not gonna hold up. They're not gonna be able to do this. Just a coaching perspective, just looking at the coaching, the play calling changed on defense. And the play calling changed definitely on offense. We stopped doing a lot of misdirection. We stopped doing a lot of pre-snap movement, and it was just straight ahead. Get the quarterback the ball, throw it, go ahead and hand it off. The 4th down call, it's like if this is your game of games, and if this is your game of games, your championship, like Jeff Brom said, this was our Super Bowl. But really, it was his Super Bowl. It was any Louisville player that played for University of Louisville Super Bowl, any Kentucky player too. But everybody else didn't feel it. That's why you had some of the players after the game saying we really wanted to win this for him because it was not their Super Bowl. They haven't grown up with the rivalry, and so everybody locked up, everybody froze up. When they need. And we saw Brom do this. We saw him do this in the Pittsburgh game where his play calling got really, really limited. He started playing not to lose, and he started playing protection instead of really going after it. Bring a jet sweep in on 4th down. Why go try to go up the middle against the two of the best, not the 2 best, but 2 of the best defensive teams you're going to face?
All right.
So I'm done.
Yeah. Go ahead, Richard. Tell me what happened to your squad. What happened to your squad?
Both you and I went to the game. And from a psychological standpoint, I don't think that stomping on the bird had anything to do with U of L and what happened. As a matter of fact, when you look at the last drive, Louisville had the opportunity to come back and tie that game. So as far as UK doing anything psychologically, physically in the gameplay to stop Louisville, no. Louisville outgained UK in every stat of the game. So where was the domination?
No, they didn't.
Except turnovers.
Except kickoff returns.
Can you mute this fool? This is the clowns that we have to deal with on a daily basis.
That's a stat.
But as I was saying, in every
game,
Louisville outgained UK, so there was no domination. The true problem that
UK
happened.
wasn't asleep. Y'all wasn't asleep. Y'all wasn't sleepwalking.
Let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish. Both Lathan and I went to the game, and what we saw was straight up simple that UK played a disciplined game. They took advantage of every mistake that Louisville made, but it wasn't hey, we are dominating Louisville, making them nervous. No. Louisville had every opportunity. We just failed to execute. We just failed. Like the biggest mistake of the game was that last drive in the 1 minute of the last quarter. Everybody has a 2-minute drill that they should know. And as a 6-year senior, you have to be cognizant of the clock. That means if I'm going to toss up a pass, I'm not going to hit the dude coming across the middle short of the 1st down, especially if I ain't got no timeouts. I'm going to be aiming for the sidelines or I'm throwing the ball.
That's all we gave you.
And he did that 3 back-to-back plays, which made us burn through our timeouts like that. Even with all of that, we still had an opportunity to throw the ball deep for a touchdown that he got off in the end zone. So in that case, it was really only 2 turnovers that doomed us, not the 3rd one, because that was the last play of the game, big deal. The problem is, had he executed that 2-minute offense better as a 6-year senior, we could have got closer to put in a better play to give us an opportunity to tie the game up. But let me say this.
Go ahead.
As far as watching the game, it was probably one of the best games UK has ever played. Discipline, but they did not overpower Louisville. They did not catch Louisville off guard. Louisville shot themselves in the foot, but still had the opportunity to pull out the victory.
I was.
That's what I saw.
I don't know what that was. Was that coach over here snoring?
I think he was farting.
I would say this. I would say this though. I would say this. Your players kind of locked up in key moments, like you was just talking about Plummer on that 2-minute drive at the end. But your coaches did too. Your coaches did too. Richard, like you said, me and you was at the game. Tell these guys before some of those plays when you guys were on defense, I'm looking at the formations and how Louisville's lining up. I'm like, the plays there go to the edge. I'm like, why is he lined up? Ron English is giving you guys this.
Okay. There was, like I said, but also on UK side, you were telling me how I can't believe they're doing this formation. That's why this is getting beat. Yes, there are several key plays. The key plays, one was the kickoff, but supposedly there was a hold that didn't get called, which allowed your guy to spring free. But from where we were standing in the stands, that block coverage was the kickoff should have gone to either one of the sidelines. Number one, should have gone straight down the field because every block there was a hole and your runner could have ran through any one of those holes and still got that touchdown. But supposedly there was a hold in that didn't get called, and that's a big controversy. It's been talked about all day long. I've been listening to the radio shows. They talking about this. About it.
Yeah,
I don't even care about that.
Louisville still had the lead and still came back the next possession and put another touchdown on the board. See what I'm saying? So
kick to that man like he was nobody. That's our fault.
Well, that was your point.
He played, but that wasn't the game changer. The game changer was those two back-to-back fumbles that allowed you all to tie and take the lead on the next possession. They was in short field, gave y'all a short field. And
nobody can recover from that.
What did I say last podcast?
Nobody.
I said one of the keys to UK beating Louisville is exposing our secondary.
Bro, we got 30 minutes.
Did I not say that? I said our secondary is weak. And anybody.
Hey, Coach. All right, you right. I gotta go. I gotta move on, Coach. You giving me a lot. You giving me a lot. Just let me know what's your thoughts. Why did Louisville lose that game?
They got outplayed in crucial moments. We made more plays. I mean, hey, I'm gonna tell you, my hat's off to Louisville. No, Louisville is better than what I thought. They competed, but we made the plays that we needed to make. The games that we lost, the other team made the plays.
Big man was making some praise, man. I saw Walker. He grabbed somebody from behind. He chased down the running back that had got through the gap and passed him, and he chased him down. It could have been anybody else, it would have been a 10 or 15-yard run, but he got him before he could get past 5 yards. So I give you that, And it wasn't just any running back. He was bringing down a 6'2" guy.
Sweet baby Ray. Go ahead, PJ.
Sweet baby Ray. Go ahead, PJ.
First of all, I just feel like I just don't get the credit I deserve.
Go ahead.
Because I've been saying all year long. I said Deion's a what? I said he's a pro. That's a pro. That's a Sunday D lineman right there. And at the beginning of the week, when people were Louisville fans, again, I'm not saying that necessarily you two, Louisville fans were, we gonna rah this, rah that. I said what? Kentucky by 7. I put it in our chat. I put it on Facebook post. I said Kentucky by 7. Soon as I seen the spread, Kentucky by 7. And to me, what happened in this game, I think, illumines what we've talked about all season long with both teams. Is one, Louisville struggles playing a complete game in both halves.
Yes.
They struggle, and I feel like that was a meltdown in that game. In the second half, we put up, 31 points? In the second half alone, 31.
Yeah.
31 points in the second half alone. And I feel like, yes, I agree. Self-inflicted things, which goes along again to what we've talked about all season long, leading up to this game about not being able to put together two good halves, right? And when we had those opportunities given to us, as has been mentioned, we took advantage of it. We couldn't be stopped. Yeah. Once we started gaining traction, it was like they can't stop it. And yes, you hurt yourself.
We stopped it.
31 points in the second half. That's all I'm saying. It's 31 points.
2 plays.
You didn't stop it.
You take away
When your quarterback threw up that interception, we stopped.
I know. But hold on.
Yeah, you stopped that. Yeah.
He didn't throw. He wasn't clean when he threw it. He was literally being pulled down.
And
he almost got sacked twice.
Y'all had way less first downs than we did in the whole game. So
I'm not talking again. Y'all listen. Can I help y'all? Because the point is here and y'all over here. Okay, so listen. I said in the second half, as we were gaining traction, right? We took advantage, as been stated, right? We scored 31 points in the second half. Correct. Am I wrong? Or is that not what happened? Correct. Exactly. So 31 points in the second half. We took advantage. We couldn't be stopped. You can't say you can stop somebody and they scored 31 points in a half.
Y'all couldn't stop us either. We had 21 points.
Again.
We stopped ourselves.
We had 31 points. Exactly. I'm saying
we had 21. Okay, so nobody stopped anybody. All right, I got you.
That's what I said. We scored more.
We just made more mistakes.
All right, 31 points. We did what we were supposed to do. Like I said, was win by 7. We did. The guys who I expected to show up,
that was a
I said that Ray Davis is a better running back. Ray Davis showed up. I said Deion Walker's a pro. What did Deion do?
I'm
gonna tell you.
Maxwell did pretty well. It's not Maxwell they pick on. Hold on, actually, it's not Maxwell they pick on. Actually, Phillips they pick on. If you watch football, if you watch the game, it's Phillips every single time.
Yeah.
Literally, any deep play that's played or any type of nice thrown that's route that's put out there, it's against Phillips. That's every team in our conference, every non-conference team, they do it against Phillips. They know he's the weakest defender. It's not Maxwell Harrison. So actually, I'm correct on that as well. So again, I'm not getting the credit I deserve, but I did bring some tissue because
PJ is getting his credit today, guys. Come on.
PJ, you sitting on the toilet right now? Go ahead, wipe the butt, pull up the gloves, and get off
the Listen, since 4 o'clock on Saturday.
What's your contact information?
I'm ending the wheel. Since 4 o'clock on Saturday, I have seen nothing but hurt feelings. And the thing is, I've had people try to oh man, we wasn't even worried about that game. The whole week, they were the main ones posting and making all kind of comments. Coach the Super Bowl game.
But I said UK was going to win by 10.
So, all right, go ahead.
Y'all made me
Hold on. Go ahead, Richard.
Biggest game of the season because the way y'all coming off here, it's 5 in a row. And y'all acting like y'all just won the Super Bowl.
They did.
Y'all won your title.
They did.
Because the way y'all coming off.
They did.
Yeah, folks up in the stadium, in your house.
Yeah, I was all over. Hey.
Way overboard mediocrity for this 7 and 5. Because had y'all lost,
PJ been taking it out on me like the last few days. All the Louisville fans that have made him cry, he's been taking it out on me.
That's the thing that you can't understand here. You all are way, way, way out of pocket for this game because, like I said, had you lost, your coach would have been on that midnight train to Texas.
Good. Hey, good point. I give it to you.
Oh yeah, in your house. Yeah, you can't.
No, let me say this. No, this is where the glee for me comes in at. Because Richard, I was tearing you up during that game, and I enjoyed every minute of it. You're a good sport, by the way. But here's where the glee comes in for me. You guys were 10-1. Going to the ACC championship game,
greatest win ever,
and all this stuff, top 10 team, and all this. And in my mind, I keep saying these guys are overrated. I'm trusting my own, what I think about you guys, the way I look at you guys, scout at you guys the whole season. I'm like, these guys. There's no way these guys. So when it happened, I was just like, I just felt so vindicated. I was just like. Yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Because when it was 17-7, you was sweating bullets.
You still think Louisville is overrated?
Of course he does, man.
What'd you say? I said what?
You still believe at this point Louisville is overrated?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That leads to the next subject. Do y'all not think that Louisville's 10-1 season was a product of being in the ACC?
No. Because, like I said, once again, when we went up against you all. I'm expecting Deion Walker to just be pancaking, getting penetration in the backfield, getting
Sacks
on the
all
quarterback,
over the
sacks
place.
galore, all over the place. You all making all of this headway about your lines and the talent.
Y'all
I
double
did not
teaming them.
see superior talent. I saw an even playing field. So, and then all
Mm-hmm.
this talk that we play superior competition, we're going to overpower you all. You're all going to see the difference between SEC and ACC. Didn't see that at all. As a matter of fact, why do you think this
On the
game is so
kick
bad?
return,
Why do
you
you
did.
think you guys are having such exuberance over this? Because you know going into this game that you all had a feeling you were going to lose this. See, and then to see it and be close like it was, and be the fact that you all got lucky on 2 plays that took advantage of Louisville's mistakes. You did not see
We moral victories right here.
high level of talent compared to what we have.
Okay, so all right,
more
so I'll say this, PJ. I got you next. I'll just say this: number one, we're talking about what the number 2 team in the ACC, and we're talking about the number 8 or 9 team in the SEC. And what we did not see is an upper echelon Power 5 team overpower Kentucky like we see the upper echelon Power 5 teams in the SEC. They did not overpower Kentucky.
You saw it for 2.5 quarters, and you know you did.
I didn't.
You know y'all got pushed. Y'all had 98 yards at the end of the first half. Y'all were getting macked.
Dude, you got to understand. You got to understand. You got to understand the difference between somebody like dominating them and lack of execution. UK has an issue with lack of execution, this is what I was explaining to you. No, this is what I was explaining to you after the game when I said they don't have it to go to that next level when it comes to take. During the game, I seen Richard. Be honest. During the game, wasn't I pointing out technique issues with Kentucky during the game?
And Louisville don't have them either. Louisville's got perfect technique.
At the same time, it wasn't your technique that won the game for you. Even
it wasn't. But if we're more technically sound, a lot that went on doesn't go on. So when we're talking about you guys catching the balls in the middle of our zones, and we traditionally think that, wow, why does our defensive coordinator have them playing so deep? Then you watch it in real life, and you there at the game, and you're like, no, their alignment is right. They're 5 yards off the ball. It's just that when they hike the ball, our linebackers go into bail technique and leave the middle wide open. Then they try to come up and close in on the pass. That's not how you play that. So yeah, that stuff is wide open. That's what was happening for you guys.
Would it be that you didn't have the ability to play that, which is why you weren't playing it?
It could be that. Well, I definitely don't think our coaches are teaching that. It could be that the players' confidence in their ability is an issue. Go ahead, PJ.
Counting that this is SEC superiority in talent and skill and coaching and gameplay. No,
PJ, you are muted. But what I'm explaining to you, Richard, is those errors in how we play. That stuff is magnified against the upper echelon SEC. It wasn't magnified against you guys. That's the big difference. This against you, yes, we can. You guys playing against you guys was similar to. I'll say this: it was similar to somewhere between Missouri and Tennessee. It wasn't. It wasn't like those upper guys. Go ahead, PJ.
No, we didn't think we were.
I'll say Louisville is Georgia or Alabama. That's what we're talking about. You were saying that Kentucky is superior to Louisville. We're not saying that. We're not saying that we're better than Kentucky and that we're upper echelon SEC. The whole time leading up to this game, you all were telling UK fans were telling us how y'all's SEC talent on your team is better than our talent. That's the whole argument that you were telling us. And then to see it on the field, to see that, okay, we're evenly matched. Yes, we're ranked. We're 10-1. Yes, but Louisville versus Kentucky,
but moral
the team
victories
that's supposed to have the better talent, we are evenly matched on this field.
So can
go
I
ahead,
say,
PJ. Go ahead, PJ.
Again, let's go back to the conversation we've had all season. I actually said this before we played. I said when we come up and play this game in Louisville, right, there's nothing that's going to be put on that field that we have not seen. Nowhere near close. Because actually, I disagree with you. I think Missouri is the closer one. I don't think
the point is with that.
I think Tennessee is definitely more talented than Louisville, for sure. Absolutely, 100%.
Oh yeah, I agree too.
Me personally, I think Mizzou is definitely the more of the similarity right there. But what I was saying though, as far as I think talking about the exuberance. Here's the thing that I think people don't really realize, and I know it's hard for y'all to realize because it's been like 6 years. In rivalry games, right? In rivalry games, that's the whole point. We have fun. It's a rivalry, right? if Kentucky, say for instance, let's flip it, right? Since y'all trending up in football and stuff, right? Say if we go into the Yum, I think we play in the Yum Center in basketball, right? If we go into the Yum Center after beating North Carolina, after beating Miami, after beating Penn, all these other teams, and we lose to Louisville, right? I guarantee you, it's not gonna be, oh, we just won the game. We know that's not how this. We know that's not how this goes. Mind you, I got screenshots. Look, bro, I got like maybe around like 15 to 20 screenshots of Louisville fans, not the same ones. Oh, score was 7-0. It's gonna be a long day. I try to tell y'all it's not the same team. I mean, talking, chomping at the bit. They were going crazy. Hold on, wait, listen. Let me finish. They were saying it's gonna be a long day. It's not the same team. Context, meaning that the game is over at 7-0. Right? They were all these things being spewed out. It wasn't Kentucky fans. It was Louisville fans. And as soon as the game was over, guess what?
No, because that's not what we saw at the stadium. But go ahead.
I'm just telling you what I've seen on social media. Exactly. I'm telling you what I've seen on social media.
Please let him talk. Thank you.
It's Louisville fans going crazy. 17-7 was going crazy in the sports group on a regular timeline. But by the end of the game, the posts were deleted or accounts were deleted. That's not on us. That's a rivalry game.
I was told when we walked into the stadium and I was talking to the security lady, we was looking at the game and Louisville was getting ready to score that first touchdown. I was told by her that you guys don't have this in Lexington. I bet this looks like an NFL field, doesn't it? Oh, you guys are just in wild of Louisville. I was like, are you serious? These guys, and because she was like, the reason why she was saying it, because she was like, we was getting ready to beat the brakes off of you guys, and you was just in awe of this. And I'm like, she's crazy.
No one enjoys rivalry unless they're the winner. People who are consistently losing don't enjoy the rivalry because there's nothing to enjoy about it.
Well, I won't take that from you, man.
It's like that for basketball. That's what made it so good about basketball when Rick Pitino was here for a while there, is because even though there's sometimes he won, Rick, to me, top 3 coach of all time.
Yeah,
he's gonna make it a good game or he's gonna win, right?
Yeah,
like we was going back and forth. Both our teams were going back and forth. Really good, fun stuff. It was fun then because you didn't know who was gonna win every single year. Now in football, again, like when I approached this game, I told y'all this when we first got on the podcast. I said Kentucky's winning. I said this is my confidence. I think we win. I told y'all the week up, we win by 7. I told y'all we win by 7, and we went there and did exactly what I thought we was gonna do. So why should I believe anything else?
All right, so let's go ahead and change gears a little bit. All right, so it's apparent. Okay, so we have school of thought that Louisville and Kentucky was evenly matched. We saw evenly matched games. We know of Kentucky's flaws that they've had during the season. Most of those was solved during the game. Kentucky turns out with the win. Kentucky, to me, compared to some of its better squads in the past, there's some talent issues in some places, and in a roundabout way, Mark Stoops even acknowledged that and was like, hey, we're going to be using the transfer portal. So I think Kentucky comes up. What does Louisville have to do to – because I really believe that next season, you guys, your regular offseason, your progression in his system, just that familiarity, you guys will be fine for next season in conference. But when it comes to stepping outside the conference with those other P5 teams, not necessarily just Kentucky, what do you guys think? Where do you guys think your most improvement needs to come from? What do you guys need to do in this offseason? And I know the number one thing people are going to say is Plummer, and we got to have a better quarterback, whoever it is, off there. But even beyond that, what are you guys thinking? And I'm going to start with Perry on that.
So we're going to have to rebuild our offensive line a bit because we lose a center that's one of the best centers that we've had in a while. Hudson, he actually really showed out big for us. He really came up big for us these 3 years. We're going to have to replace our best wide receiver. Thrash is gone. We're going to have to we might have to replace Jordan. I think he's going to I think he already accepted to go play in a Senior Bowl, but I feel like he might come back because he's so injured. But then again, that's when you leave, is when you're sort of dinged up. You don't want to get any worse in college. You want to leave and get as much money as you can. So we're going to have to replace him. We're going to have to replace one of our better defensive linemen. The guy finally showed up this year, 300-pound Jermaine Lowell in the middle, defensive tackle. We're gonna have to replace him, but most of our defense comes back, including a lot of the defensive backs that got injured and got replaced by the transfers. I think we're gonna hit the transfer portal pretty hard. I'm hearing there's some big things coming our way in the transfer portal. So I mean, the quarterback position, we got 9 of them. Whatever happened, Jeff Brom felt like he had to go out and get 5 quarterbacks through the transfer portal and through recruiting, and then we got 2 more coming. So I'm expecting some quarterbacks to leave. The insiders say the guy that we picked up last year from California is the heir apparent. They keep saying, they double down on it. This is a guy that would have been running the team if Plummer wasn't there, the freshman. Nobody wants to start a true freshman in a Power 5 unless the guy is Lamar Jackson. And so that's where we're going to need some improvements right there. If you're wondering, just those positions right there. I feel like Jeff Brom, he knows how to mix in guys. He's a terrible guy. I mean, I've seen him getting on Plummer. I'm like, man, he's like the Rick Pitino equivalent on the sideline. I mean, he was blistering Plummer.
I honestly think that you need that as a coach with the coach.
I believe so too. I just be like, man, I'm glad I'm not being coached because I'm looking and they're showing him on camera like, throw the ball, and he's like literally cussing this guy out, and I'm like,
I think Coach can attest that on the sidelines I probably went a little bit too far, almost on the edge anyway. So, so I think you need that hard coaching. But Richard, what do you see? I know you talked about the secondary. Is that all, or do you think you guys got to go a little bit further than that?
What's the guy that got injured in the pit game before the pit game started? He's back for another. He's back next year too, right? Or is he gone?
Brownlee.
No.
Jordan.
The lineman. Twisted his ankle.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Williams. He's back. Oh, Renato Brown.
Yeah.
Got injured in the pit game. Yeah. I think he's back. Yeah, he's back next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's back.
All right. So
he's back.
Okay.
So we got to replace 3 starters. You know.
Yeah.
He'll swap in with that. So.
Okay. I think the offensive line will be okay. I think more or less we need to focus on the defensive side of the ball because everybody's obviously going to say we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. Quarterback player.
That's easy.
That's automatic. But I think what our biggest weakness was shut down corners or working on that secondary safeties. Somebody back there that can understand. Hey, I need to be. Show a little bit more wisdom, IQ back here. See the ball coming. I need to make sure that this guy is not going to blow past me, and I'm focused on the, a potential, play action run play while the receiver is running past me. I need somebody a little bit smarter than that. But to be honest with you, I think next year is going to be a boon for us. Another good year, a good season for us. I think our toughest game that's been the bane for Louisville is the Clemson game. And since we play them at Clemson, that'll be our bellwether test. Of course, there's always Kentucky at the end of the season. But I think with Jeff coming in here and having the success he had this year, I can only see greater heights next year. We do have some holes we got to fill, but the quarterback will be the most sensitive position that we have to fill because everybody's going to be like, well, we don't want to be worse than Plummer, but we definitely need better than Plummer. And so this quarterback's going to have some big shoes to fill, going to have a lot of pressure on him from day one because he's going to be he's going to be scrutinized heavily, especially after what happened in the UK game. So, but to be honest with you, I'm just more or less concerned about, what's going to happen in the transfer portal, guys that are going to leave. We got 9 quarterbacks. How am I going to leave?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that we're going to pay attention to. Everyone's going to pay attention to is the transfer portal. Hopefully we won't get hit as bad because of the success we've had on the field. And if the team puts in that team mentality, hey, what's the greater good, we might not be hit as bad as some of these other teams out there. But, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I understand. I see. So, Coach, I know you only seen them really up close one game. That's against Kentucky. I don't know if you called any of the other games. I mean, what's your review on Louisville? I know you said that you thought that they was overrated, but they were better. Well, you said that they're better than what you thought. That's what you said. But where do you see their weaknesses? What do you think they need to get better at as they face teams maybe like a Kentucky? Who knows? They something else might be shown. Whoever they play, they might get a New Year's Six bowl and figure out there's some other weakness that Kentucky didn't exploit. What's your thoughts on that?
They need everything, for real.
they need it.
You're not gonna get it.
They definitely need they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. But let me say this though: you all have a freshman coming in that I'm very high on, and you can ask Will. I told Will about this boy when he was a freshman. Okay, because he played with my nephew down in Grayson, Georgia. His name is JoJo Stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we got him.
JoJo Stone is a nice player. I'm talking to his mom now about him flipping to Kentucky. I'm trying to work that angle, but for real, because he's that dude for real. Seriously, he is. You all are gonna like him. You're gonna like him, and you need him. You need him because your receiver is really not.
I got one more.
The receiver's really nothing. Go ahead, PJ. Same question.
I think for what in the context of where Louisville is, of course the quarterback. I think as y'all mentioned, that's a easy go. It's just continue to build on the block that's already been set. Right, they got a good foundation to set with Brian. We knew Brian coming to Louisville would be a home run for them. It's a good fit, and he exceeded expectations in year one, and I feel like he built a good foundation for them going into next year. Now, again, that's also is going to turn to what do those other teams look like next year? What do they look like next year? To me, the ACC is almost rivaling mid-major type level of play. And I'm not talking about talent. I'm not talking about talent. Don't wrong. I am not talking about talent. I'm talking about the coaching of it, everything. When I watch Miami play, I'm looking at Miami. I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Go ahead.
Watch Miami play with Van Dyke. I don't even know how he has an offer at a Power 5 school. There's nothing he does well. There's literally nothing he does well at all. Like nothing. And so especially places like Miami, right? Now they can make up for it. They got the skill position players. They got the skill, the fast guys everywhere. But to me, the ACC is they've got some. Louisville is definitely a bright spot in what the ACC has right now. Of course, up to what Florida State did, unless of course they lost Travis, so that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But
so let's go here.
They got to build up on it. That's all it is. They head in the right direction though, for sure.
Let's go here. So Brahms, his first campaign out is 10-1, 10-2 after he facing Kentucky. What does a successful season look like for him? Not this year, because I believe this year. I think everybody's going to say this year was a successful season for him. You guys were probably dubbed 7-5 or something like that. So
we were picked to go number 8 in the ACC. We were picked
number 8.
So
yes,
we were not picked to go high. So
you guys
were successful. It's not successful. It's beyond our wildest imaginations. The wildest imagination, I guess, would be dropping down and beating Kentucky.
That ain't hard because y'all were doo-doo last year.
We got 2 trophies.
Perry really wanted a question of asking about if the season was successful. I think everybody's going to say the season is successful. You guys you can say you're 4 games ahead of the schedule.
We lost the one. We went 2-1 against our rivals. UK can't say that, but we can say that.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about next season. I mean, well, first off, not next season. Next season, what does it look like bowl picture for you guys?
We're going to the Orange Bowl.
You guys are going to the Orange Bowl? Is it set?
Well, here's
it might not be.
They ran through some scenarios on the radio this morning, and here's the thing: if we beat Florida State, it's a definite lock for the Orange Bowl because they're not going to we're not going to be high enough to get into the college playoff. Well, it's not a definite lock. It's still not a definite lock because even if we beat Florida State's not going to fall far enough in the rankings for us to jump them to get into the Orange Bowl. See what I'm saying? Because it's going to go against our record because we'll be 10-2. Florida State will be 12-1, and they'll probably likely take the highest because Florida State's already won the regular season conference up against the conference championship. So we're still not a lock to get into the Orange Bowl then. Florida State would have to blow us out to get into the college playoff. Then we would take the Orange Bowl slot because anything less than that, anything less than that is still an iffy. Like I said, because even if we beat Florida State, we're not going to fall. They're not going to fall low enough for us to jump them in the rankings to get into the Orange Bowl. So that's kind of up in the air.
Gotcha.
And that was predicted. Louisville was predicted by, well, at least according to this website, ran by Louisville, I guess, was predicted to go 8-4 this year. That's what the prediction was.
8-4 this year.
8-4.
Okay.
But also, the Orange Bowl is a contract, so it's
that ain't right. That ain't right.
I can send you the link right now if you want me to. I just said
Send them the link.
I'll tell you this.
Right now, it's the 8th place team in the ACC.
Send him the link. Send him the link. Send it to him.
I'm still trying to
be at 7-5. So
I'll tell you right now.
I'm trying to figure out how the ACC went 6-4 against the SEC, but the ACC is now a mid-major conference. That's the part that's just like, let me do my field motions.
Who did you play?
Well, who was the
Who did you play? Who did you play?
Texas A&M. They
Texas
played
A&M.
LSU. They played South Carolina
Twice.
They played, and then they played Florida.
Wait, South Carolina. So okay, again,
fun keeping your rival from a bowl game.
PJ, let him keep on. PJ, let him continue. Let him continue because it's a point that I'm making. Go ahead.
I'm talking about the only opportunities we had to play SEC teams. Okay.
But yeah, you're right. That's your only opportunities, and you can only play the opportunities that you have, right?
Man, we can't play no top 10 UK team. It never happened.
The only team in the ACC that played your best team was Georgia Tech, and even they didn't get blowed out. So
the point is, did you win?
So if you go by transitive properties,
did you win? Did you win? Did you win?
We played Georgia a whole lot better than Kentucky.
Did you win? Did y'all play? Did you? Hold on. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Richard.
In the ACC.
Let me ask you a question, Richard. Let me ask you a question.
I'm just saying.
Did you play? Hold on.
Those are facts.
No. Okay, and then we're going to go through other facts. Okay, so we established that you played Georgia and you lost. Okay. Did you play Missouri? No. Okay, did you play Tennessee?
Nobody in SEC.
Okay. Did you? Well, no.
Did you play Ole Miss?
Oh, you played Virginia Tech and you lost. Did you play Ole Miss? Okay.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Who?
Georgia Tech played Georgia. So Virginia played Tennessee.
Virginia played Tennessee. Okay.
The worst team played Tennessee.
Okay.
All right. And Georgia Tech played Ole Miss.
I can't stand
Okay. Georgia Tech played Ole Miss. Okay, and you lost those, right? Did you play Alabama?
No.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. There's a narrative that you can set any kind of way you want to do. So when you say we went 6-4, you're not playing against the best of the SEC.
You can mix it and match it.
50
We
points
still went 6-4.
That's the narrative.
Did you play Kentucky?
Always said that the worst of the SEC
Did you play Kentucky?
is better than the SEC.
So
Did you play Kentucky?
But Perry, what did you just say? That's all you guys prove, that the best of the ACC is better than the worst of the SEC. Is that something that you really want to write home to about?
Until we can get.
I mean, we can set any narrative that we want.
Hold on. Second. We will. It's set in stone. Louisville.
That y'all the bottom of the SEC if y'all join.
Never play a top 10 UK. It's not going to happen. So we're never going to have less than you guys to lose when we play. We're always going to have more
in our
to lose when we play you guys.
Hey, can we talk about basketball, please? Can we talk about basketball?
We spent 30 minutes on UK football.
Can we move off this? Can we talk about basketball?
Hey,
Let me go back to one of our worst seasons. You know, I went back 10 years. And in the
girls volleyball?
20 years.
I see you. Really good.
Has to go 20 years is as far
Justin
back as they
lost
go.
us.
In that 20
Girls
years,
volleyball.
Louisville has only had 5 losing seasons, right? 5 total in 20 years. Now, Kentucky's had twice as many, but one of the worst seasons, we still beat Kentucky. So y'all can flip the script. And in that period of us beating Kentucky, we beat Kentucky 4 times in a row. So yes, y'all beat us 5 times.
5 times.
But let me put it this way: there's a cycle. And since we will never, ever, 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 ever get to play a ranked Kentucky when we do play y'all, of course you are going to get these elevated.
Hey, Will.
Okay, so
Will, you went to game Saturday. Will, you went to game Saturday. Who won?
Kentucky.
Let's move on. Thank you. Okay. That's all I need to know.
By how many?
But okay. That leads me to my next point. That leads me to the next point. All right. So we see what happened. We see that the second best, at least the second best team in the ACC, cannot beat the number 8 best team in the SEC. Does that cheapen that ACC championship at all?
Nope.
Does that cheapen that ACC championship at all if you win?
If it was out of the blue, like let's say Kansas State. If Kansas State, if
Yes or no,
Missouri
man?
misses
Come
that
on.
full field goal against Kansas State and Kansas State wins, and Missouri
I'll give you a point.
beats LSU, that don't cheapen it. That don't cheapen it because it's a rivalry game. That type of stuff is sort of supposed to happen.
That would be no different than Kentucky coming into Yum Center and getting beat by a pathetic Louisville. That's not going to stop y'all from making it to the Final Four. It's going to sting. Oh my goodness!
I got you.
I
got you.
Patrick Sparks actually beat us one year. He traveled, walked to the grocery store.
All right.
So we went to the Final Four. You guys
Okay. All right. PJ.
Well, those apples and oranges, first of all, what you made the comparison. Anyways,
PJ, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How it is weakened is not necessarily just because y'all lost. To me, it's because Florida State lost their best player. To me, you should win. You absolutely should win Saturday. They lost their best player.
No, they walked all over Florida.
Hold on, wait. Hold on.
Are you saying that you're not as good as Florida?
No, I'm not saying we're good. No, I'm not saying that because you know what?
Let PJ finish. Let PJ finish.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead, PJ. Go ahead, PJ.
I'm about to go into that, actually. I'm about to go into that game because they actually didn't do it. It was a close game with Florida. It was a close game with Florida. Their quarterback is not. He's definitely not their starter, of course, for clear reasons, right?
Which game are we talking about?
Florida State. Yeah.
Played. It was not no blowout game or nothing like that. Florida had to lead for most of the first half. Florida State eventually took the lead. And of course, Florida, as y'all mentioned, y'all say they're bottom SEC, right? They're supposed to stop on this team. They're supposed to stop on Florida, right? But they didn't. They struggled with them. And to me, y'all are better than Florida, right? Y'all think y'all better than Florida. Y'all should go in Saturday. It's no question y'all should win this game.
That's not true.
It should be no question. Without their best player. Now, if he was playing, I got y'all losing by like 3 touchdowns. Being honest. That's just me personally. After seeing them play and y'all play, if they have their best player, they're their starting quarterback, it's not even a game. But with their starting best player out of the game, I feel like this is a prime chance. I'm not saying y'all going to go in there and win by 3 touchdowns. I'm saying y'all can go in and win by 3. Y'all going to win by 7. I feel like y'all have enough to win the game. But it is less than nobody's going to be watching this championship game except for y'all because their best players out.
Okay, so that's and you know what?
Won against them bums.
Hold on.
We knocked them out of the game last year, so you're giving them way too much credit because there's this thing called matchups. Yes, they are a very good team, but
they're much better this year than it was last year. I think they're much better this year than what it was last year.
Not a little bit, but we're much better this year than we were last year too.
Okay, I guess can I?
Satterfield had them on the ropes.
So are you saying, Perry, is your answer that it's not cheap? Because I like what PJ went on with their quarterback being out of the game. So you saying regardless of that, it's not cheapened at all? You're not, because you have to look at it like this. You know, you're not getting their best punch.
Watch this. Do you think if Leary hadn't played, you guys would have lost to us?
If Leary hadn't played,
if Leary had gotten hurt before the game, y'all would have lost to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Plummer doesn't play for you all in y'all's games, do y'all win those games? You take out Plummer.
It's just like
y'all quarterback.
I think he's got a better quarterback coach than you guys.
But Perry, it's just like last year. It's just like last year when we was talking about Louisville and Kentucky and Cunningham. He's out the game. What I tell you, with y'all backup, I forgot his name. I was like, you guys don't have a chance at all. And what did it show? You guys didn't. You needed Cunningham. Yeah, you can talk about matchups at the other positions, but the most important position in sports, period, is the quarterback.
Okay.
So you got to understand that.
Well, okay. Well, so I guess the point I'm making is Tate Rodemaker beat us last year. We knocked out old boy in the first quarter. Tate Rodemaker came in, got steadied against us, and then proceeded to beat us.
But y'all was
And
trash.
I'm just saying,
We was
You
we're not
can't even compare last year. Y'all was trash.
Let me give you some
Man,
facts.
high school quarterback would have beat y'all last year, man. Come on.
You keep talking from
Hold on. You just talking mess. You're not talking
85 was
facts.
better than 7 and 6
Y'all
last year.
You're talking facts.
Y'all wasn't trash last year.
Wait. Let him talk.
Go ahead, Perry.
If we were trash last year, UK would have beat us worse than they beat us last year. But but just saying, Rodemaker came in.
Let the man talk, please.
He came in and steadied the ship. He steadied the ship, got them to 10-3, got them the rest of the way through the season after we knocked out old boy. It was almost like a UK game last year. We were up, we were winning, and then all of a sudden the script flipped. And their athleticism for them, their athleticism sort of took over. But going into all of this, I'm just saying that there's some matchups involved. Even if he was playing, I wanted him to play. I was not scared of their quarterback because we know how to match up against him. At least our previous defensive coordinator did. Louisville does not do well against backups. Check the record this year. We lost against a backup in Pittsburgh. We almost lost to a backup in Boston College, not Boston College, Virginia. That guy had them popping against us.
So are you saying?
So are you
saying that Louisville losing to a backup doesn't basically solidify that you guys might have been a little bit overrated, a little bit?
How can you be 10-1? How can you be 10-2 and be overrated? That's what I'm trying to.
Because you can pick the reason why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that is any top 10. Let's be honest. Florida State is not one of those dominant top 4 teams, top 3 teams, or whatever you want to call. All right.
They looked against LSU.
Okay, you said LSU.
You said
I don't.
LSU was terrible. Throwing that out there, and against Missouri almost lost that game. So at Missouri,
with their starting quarterback.
Exactly. But wait a minute. Yeah, but wait a minute. They never look like one of the top 4 teams for real. Top 3 teams, dominant teams. But then they don't have their quarterback. You're supposed to be a top 10 team.
You didn't watch them play this year. Just say
so
it. You don't know who Jared Verse is.
Will,
you don't know who he is. You don't know who their defensive line is. You don't know who their running back is. Just say you didn't watch Florida State.
You said, can a team be overrated at 10-1? Okay, so this is my outlook at it.
We're saying
I'm not saying that y'all are overrated or nothing like that. I'm not going to get into the argument. I'm saying I think there are teams who are ranked high who are not as good as what people think. I.e., we've seen it with Oregon, right? When Oregon got into the playoffs and played, they shouldn't even been on the field. They should have stayed home. They should have never even came over to this side of America and played that game. It was embarrassing.
You talking about TCU? You talking about TCU?
TCU, yeah, TCU.
TCU. You talking about TCU?
Should have never even got on the field. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to me, there are teams who can be like, you know, they can have the ranking and the record, and then still really not that good.
Okay.
Still not that good. Now, again, I'm not here to say that y'all.
I could agree with you about TCU and Kansas State. Kansas State did the same thing. Alabama.
Last point though too. When you just said that when y'all knocked out Travis, right? Mm-hmm. You said y'all knocked out Travis last year, right? Mm-hmm. And y'all still lost. Y'all almost won, right?
We were up most of the game.
Again, my point. Without Travis. Yes, without Travis, I feel like y'all should win. That's the whole point I was saying. But you're saying when y'all had the backup, y'all still almost won. That's my point, is that y'all should go into this game confident that y'all can win. But it does change the dynamics of the game, the fact that they are without their best player.
Well, I can't say overrated.
I need 4 points.
I can't say overrated because we're talking about a team, like I said, at the beginning of the season was picked to finish 8th in the conference. So even if we go in and we lose this game, we're not overrated.
With house money, man.
We're playing with house money.
We weren't even supposed to be here.
We've been playing with house money since the Miami game. See what I'm saying? House money. So at the end of the season, we're not overrated. We're just disappointed that we couldn't go with that house money, that lucky streak stopped when it stopped.
So are you saying that the 10-2 team can't be overrated?
Let me finish this.
This 10 and 10-2, you keep forgetting this one. Yes, there are some out there that can, as TJ said. This 10 and 2 team.
Coach, what are you doing?
Now let me finish this.
We're talking about basketball, please.
As far as TCU being overrated,
y'all lost
the game for the national championship game, yes. But remember how they got there. They beat the Michigan team, which everybody had picked to meet Georgia in the national championship game. See what I'm saying? And this is the same Michigan team that's here that people are picking to meet them again.
You need to get rid of y'all special teams.
I really can't say, are they overrated? They were overrated against the team they were matched up against. But to be there, I can't say that. I can't say whoa, yeah. So
I give it to you. I give it to you. All right.
So I got loose to us.
So all right. So I looked at the bowl projections from On3. They got you guys facing Ohio State.
Hey, y'all gonna get smashed.
No, I don't think it's gonna be a close game because, like I said, Ohio transitive properties. I'm just going by transitive properties. Notre Dame faced Ohio State, could have beat them. We beat Notre Dame. That's going to be a good game. I can't smash point and say either way. It probably end up just like the UK game, where we end up shooting ourselves in the foot when we could have had an opportunity to beat a good team. But it's not going to be a blowout. I can't see it being a blowout. No,
so you be about 3 touchdowns.
Can I ask you something, Lathan? Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
You keep asking about this cheaping. Does it cheapen y'all's season that y'all lost to South Carolina? Does it cheapen your?
That's very disappointing. Yeah, exactly. That's already been answered.
So we said
it does. Yeah.
Missouri, does it cheapen your season? Let's just say you hadn't played South
Carolina. Should have been Missouri.
Does it cheapen your season that you played Missouri and lost to Missouri? Because really, my thinking, my back of my mind telling me that had y'all beat Missouri, Missouri wouldn't have had the kind of success they have now. I think y'all puffed up their chest and gave them the bravado to go in and beat the other teams down on the list.
No, I don't think we gave them the bravado to do that at all. No, I think they did what they were going to do. As far as Kentucky goes, what we did this season, it was disappointing. You look at the Missouri game and all the penalties and dumb stuff that we did in that game to cause us to lose that game. You know, you look at the South Carolina game, that shouldn't have happened. It doesn't. I don't care what they did against other opponents. What we did against them, it cheapens our season. Yeah, it feels great that we beat Louisville. Was it disappointing? Those are two games that I'm looking at. Those 2 games and then Tennessee game where we were close. Those are the games that I'm looking at. I look at those games and I say, yeah, this is a disappointing season. Now on Louisville's side, I'm not you. If I was a Louisville fan, I wouldn't be saying that because hey, you guys went 10-1. You guys are supposed to go 8-5. My thing about with you guys is when you look at who you guys played, and I know that you guys can only play who's on your schedule, but how everything came to be. The only really really good team that y'all beat was Notre Dame. After that, you had a Duke team that was coming in high, but they weren't really fully healthy coming in. You really didn't get their best shot.
Carolina State,
you know. Let me say this. You know why our season was disappointing. There was 2 things that we were lacking, and nobody's really has said this. One, our quarterback play wasn't what we thought it was going to be. But number 2, more than that, we were not too deep at the receiving position. That hurt us. And that hurt us this year. We had nobody that could come in, that came in and could replace Berrien and replace Dane, and we just keep rolling. And I think that's one thing going next year. They need to find – we got to be too deep at the receiver position.
And that's the reason why the first offer that went out even before the portal opened was to the wide receiver at Texas A&M that's getting ready to go in the portal.
Yeah, it hurt us. It hurt us all year.
It hurt
us against Louisville. What is it? It hurt us against Louisville, but it hurt us all year.
What was it? He said that y'all didn't have good receivers?
No, we're talking about too deep.
We were not too deep at the receiver position. That hurt us.
Our execution.
They had to play every down. There's nobody else. Hey, Crowd is – I don't even know if he got a target this year.
That is a good question.
That says a lot.
He didn't decal nobody.
Brown Stevens only had like 3 targets.
Yeah.
It was Dane or Barian and Robinson.
And Robinson,
It wasn't going to those 3. It wasn't going to nobody. And it hurt us. And I'm saying we lost a whole lot of our receiving core. They transferred out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But it caught us. It bit us in the butt this year because
it does too.
we didn't have first. But I can't speak to your team. I really don't. Man, I don't even know who's on y'all's roster. Don't even care. I'm speaking about my squad.
Yeah, you made a good point right there about 2 deep.
Coach. Y'all had receivers. Y'all had
receivers.
Now, can we go to basketball?
Y'all had y'all's coach. Y'all had a receiver. It's on your receiver coach. Y'all have talent. Y'all have talent on your receivers. I don't take that as an excuse. I don't think I can understand the quarterback part, but then again, your quarterback threw for more than
Ain't no time making excuses.
Well,
it hurt us.
just made one.
I said it hurt us.
It hurt us. That's
We're not too deep. Who's your backup receivers on y'all's team? Who's y'all's backup receivers?
We got a whole new receiving core just like y'all did. We had one receiver. Our top
Did they play?
Years,
Did they play?
Yeah,
And I'm being listen. Objectively, objectively, were you all too deep at the receiver position?
not really.
Y'all wasn't.
I mean,
Okay,
not really.
we were not. And I said it hurt us.
We were too deep. Couple of
It hurt us. You know,
Hey guys,
I don't know y'all. I don't know y'all's roster makeup. I don't.
let me say this. When we're talking about bowls, Kentucky is actually about 2 different people. Looks like that we are projected to go to the Duke Mayo Bowl
against the ACC team. Who?
Yes, and
Miami or Clemson?
I lost it. I'm looking for it again.
I just got it in my mind.
No, it wasn't either one of those. It was somebody else.
It was
Yeah.
Duke last time. They had us Duke going against Duke.
Let me see.
So
Hey, PJ,
while
what
you
the
doing
heck,
that,
y'all, PJ?
North Carolina State finished 9-3 this year. We went into their place and beat
No.
them. They are a good team.
What is
So Slaybach got us. Slaybach has Kentucky playing Virginia Tech and Bonagura.
Come on.
Y'all need to.
The other person has Kentucky playing
What'd
Georgia
you say,
Tech. This is on
Yeah,
3.
I'd rather play Georgia
What did you
Tech.
say, Phil? Those are the worst ACC. You was like, man, Georgia Tech is number 3 in the ACC.
They're not
I got a
good.
problem with the ACC.
They played against
Don't
the
get beat by them.
against the rest of the ACC, which is horrible, bro. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Don't
They're
lose
proving
to
my
them.
point. They're proving my
Don't
point.
lose
That's-
to
They're
them.
proving my point.
Hey, that'll be
Don't
interesting.
lose to them.
We're not going to
Georgia
have a
couldn't
team.
stop them. I don't know if Georgia just decided.
We're not
to
going to
see
have
what-
our best. More likely, Ray Davis ain't.
Yeah, Ray's not playing.
Ray probably ain't
already
playing.
for the draft.
Like,
Y'all the great ACC, SEC. Y'all don't
But I
need
think
that.
SDK is
Hold on,
good.
hold on. Would you all have beat Alabama? Would you all have beat Alabama?
No.
Would you have beat Georgia?
No.
Would you have beat Missouri?
What?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Would you beat Tennessee?
There could be something there.
We'll see. I don't know about
Tennessee's better
I don't
than.
know. It depends on where it's played. I don't know.
The only team that y'all would have beat is South Carolina.
That's not true, but you
Yeah, it is.
try to see your opinion.
Yeah, it is. Can we go to basketball?
It's not
Anyway,
Can we
true.
go to basketball?
You
Ain't we
sound
gonna be
like
talking about
a
basketball?
UK fan. Can we get to basketball? That's
Almost
a
10
UK
o'clock. No, it's
state.
almost 10 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey guys. That's true. That's true. This because this podcast.
Nothing in football.
No, hold on. This podcast end up being all football only. We went an hour and 37 minutes.
Man.
It's 15 minutes to 10. We got to pull the plug. We got to pull the plug on this one. I'm sorry. We didn't even get to basketball. We can. Well, let's get to.
Talk about basketball.
Let's. No, because they okay. We can talk briefly about basketball because we have the ACC SEC challenge. I'll just throw this out for the Kentucky because I doubt, to be honest, that our Louisville fans want to talk about
Y'all
Coach
coaches
KP.
messed us up so bad. We done got messed up by 2 UK coaches. We just need to go.
Okay, all right. So let me. Okay, so let's go here first. What's the way? Let's talk basketball. What's the way forward for Kenny Payne to return next season? I mean, they shown some kind of improvement. Do they continue? Do they continue this improvement on, and he comes back?
I think the way forward is be on the bubble or be in the NIT.
Beat UK, lose every game, but beat UK, then he can come back.
Well, that too.
That man can get a key to the city.
Well, I did ask a certain person on this podcast if they wanted to go to the basketball game, and they wanted to answer me.
You know what? I will go to the UK UofL football game next year. I'll be in Lexington next year.
He gonna go to the football game. All right.
Buy you a beat up
Same
car,
here.
get you a beat up car, and then drive in there because you don't want your car keys.
On the real.
So-
on the real, on the
so
real,
PJ.
on the real.
PJ, what's the way forward for KP?
No, I think on the real, it's they are playing better. I think they still have to find. To me, they're forcing a little bit some of the roster play. I think his name's Tyler, right? I feel like him, Sky, what's his name? Taylor? Is it Trailer or Taylor? I forget.
Trey White.
No,
I get-
Trailer or
JJ
Taylor.
Traylor.
This is too much.
JJ.
Trainor. Osborne's son.
Him, and figure out what's going on in the post. I feel like is their best foot forward. I feel like those guys.
Gotcha.
Tyler changes the game when he comes in the game. He's not necessarily a premier scorer, but he allows Sky Clark to operate in that kind of essence and be another score for them instead of having to try to like playmake where you have two playmakers out there.
Mhm.
Him being having the keys. I think they really just have to beat.
So you're saying switch out Sky Clark for Tyler? Is that what you're
No, I'm
saying?
saying play them together. I'm
Play them
saying
together.
Tyler and him. I think it helps Louisville because you have two guys out there who can. Guy can get his. Depending on who the guy is, can get his shot off. Tyler though is more. He can get to his spots better. Overall, regardless of who's in front of him, right?
True point
Gotcha.
guard.
Guard. So for Louisville, it's really beating the teams you're supposed to beat. Now I ain't gonna lie. I told my friends this yesterday. I said when I didn't realize that Louisville was playing New Mexico State. I said, this is one of them games where they could probably mess around and lose. Just because how New Mexico State is built, people think that they're not good because they see the losses. But again, like Louisville, it's a whole new team. So the scouting is off. You only got a sample size, but then they also was out without their best player, which kind of threw me off guard. That they.
All right, so Coach, let me hear you. What is KP's best way forward at Louisville?
Hey man, I'm trying to figure out why nobody wants to come to Louisville and play. I don't understand why he's not getting the caliber of players that they need, especially with the transfer portal. I don't understand what's going on. I've seen them lately. They do look better. I like Trainer. I like Clark. You know, I don't think their guard play is their point is not good enough. You know, so I don't know if it's the assistant coaches.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't. I'll leave it up to them because they watch it more. I really don't watch Louisville that much. I do watch them some, you know, but what I've seen, I just don't understand why they can't get the caliber players that they need to come into Louisville with all the money that they have.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They play Bellarmine next game. That's on the 29th. Yeah, you guys lost against Bellarmine last year. You guys got to beat them this year. I mean, Richard, if you guys don't, that you're already shaking your head. You don't even want to talk about it. You don't even want to talk about it. But I mean,
seriously, what do y'all think? What is the problem?
What is the issue over there, guys?
It's just you.
Well, I think the fact that a lot of people don't think he's going to be here next year, so players are not going to invest in coming through when they know good well, but they feel strongly that the coach is going to be replaced. So that's the
Kenny Payne won those games,
but
that's what they say.
Yeah, I think that's his biggest hurdle right now is convincing the folks that the team is improving and that he will be here next season, so that he can continue his effort.
Do y'all think he's going to be there next season?
Like I said, I said at the beginning of the season that I'm not counting the UK game, but the thing Lathan had also said, and I agree with, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. This first part of the season was a layup. And that first Chattanooga loss took it was a gut punch to me, especially because I started off hyping this season up to be great after I saw them against Seminole. I know Seminole is a trash team, but the way they played. And then we got hyped again when they played against Texas. They could have beat Texas, but then turned around and followed it up with the same garbage play against Indiana. And in this struggle, you're not supposed to struggle against the likes of New Mexico State, not an overtime struggle. So you're saying it's a brand new team, but this.
So do you think it's more of because young teams, inexperienced teams, sometimes they have a tendency of playing down to the level of the other team. Do you think it's something dealing with that? I mean,
that's what I'm hoping. That's what this is for us. That's what I'm hoping. But again, I saw the same lackadaisical go up and down the court. I'm not no basketball IQ, stuff like that got him in that situation in the first place. But like I said, this front part of the season was a layup, and he was supposed to be able to get these easy losses. We weren't counting Texas, and we weren't counting the second game in that invitational. But to get to the UK game, these are supposed to be layup games. And then if he got 15 wins, it was, hey, Kenny, you coming back next year, buddy? We see some improvement. But I seriously doubt we'll get 15 wins. Now, what will happen is if he beats UK, which I'm not saying is happening, please don't come in here and say, Richard, y'all, UK, UofL fan, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that.
I know you ain't saying that because you won't commit to even going to the game. So
I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. It's not going to be, when I shout, I'll be everybody hear me across the court.
Wait a minute. So why did you go to the football game?
he thought they was going to win.
I mean, everybody thought we were going to win. The computer,
we didn't.
The Vegas
bookies, y'all gonna win.
But y'all nobodies. I'm saying everybody, not nobodies. I said everybody.
All right, Perry. Let's go. Hold up. Let's get back on basketball. Let's go back on basketball.
Hold on.
So Perry, yeah, go ahead, Perry.
I hope we win this little contest here because I got something I want to say about that. But go ahead, Perry.
But so I need to watch the full game because it amazed me how they fouled out. They fouled out every player against us. Like 6 guys fouled out of that game for New Mexico State, which is just totally weird. But they shot 60% for the game. So it's like
that is crazy.
Did not play defense, and they shot 60%. We needed a guy to miss free throws at the end of regulation in order for us to make it into the overtime. And so you like the futility of it all, the madness of it all. They had to play the last 21 seconds of overtime with 4 players. That's how many guys fouled out. And if they had gotten one more foul, it would have been 3. It would have been 3 guys. It was so insane. But we had to have done something good to foul out 6 players. Refs will give you some things, but not 6 guys fouling out. That's what really blew my mind is that we have something going on. And 3 guys scored 20 plus points, which hasn't happened since 2014.
All right, PJ, because you over animated with the face. With the making faces. Go ahead.
I feel like I've killed them out, so I feel like we should have way more points in this. I've been killing them, but look. Here's my thing. I think again when we like I said about Louisville at first, right? It becomes that whole thing. It's a new team. It has to kind of come together. It has to gel together. New Mexico State is the same thing. They have some guys who can play now. Mind you. The thing about New Mexico State that I think what you're seeing, and I think that's what probably made it a game, was as I talk about how they wasn't really putting effort in. Louisville wasn't right. New Mexico State, even when they played us, they're going to fight. And whenever that's what happens. If you have a team coming in, and we've seen it as well, when one of our teams come in, they half it, feel like this game should be easy, we should win. The other team comes in like, nah,
it's their Super Bowl. Yeah,
it changes, and they wanted that win so bad. I remember watching the coach. I did when I heard that y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I seen it on the ESPN score, so I switched it over to see. I knew y'all about to go in overtime. When I seen that a mistake that one of their guys made that was really critical to y'all going to overtime, their coach was irate on the sideline because that's his Super Bowl. He could say he beat Louisville with a whole new team, new program that just got dismantled last year. Had to stop halfway through the season because of all the different things they had going on. So, again, I think still with Louisville, I still like y'all have still some life left. Now, as we've all mentioned, and continue to mention, you got to win the game you're supposed to win. I am of the thought process that KP needs to find a way to get out the UK game because it's right now the way the trajectory of the way the teams are going, it's not going to be pretty. And I don't want that from KP. I don't mind it to Louisville, but I don't want it to happen to KP.
I got you.
Too good of a guy.
I got you. All right. So let's go ahead and switch gears just a little bit because I mean, hey, we're a couple of minutes. We're a couple of minutes from 10. We got to end this. So let's talk about DJ Wagner. Is DJ Wagner finally on track, Coach? I'm gonna go ahead and start with you. Is DJ Wagner finally on track?
Yeah, he is. He's finding his groove. He's going to be fine. You know, people hollering. They were 3 games in, and people were wondering, "Oh man, what's all the hype about?" I'm telling you, if you understand basketball, you watch DJ play. DJ's IQ is so advanced. You know, learning how to play with those guys. It takes time. Okay, find out what does my team need me to do,
Yeah.
because it's different from what he played in high school. He would, hey, come down. I'm not passing. I'm taking the majority of his shots. Now he's got to worry about getting everybody else in the flow. So he's fine. He's good.
I think we've seen a little bit of that because this last game that we played, I didn't get to see the game before that where we took the other team in overtime. I forgot who it was. But anyway, this last game that we played against Marshall, I noticed that he wasn't coming down and immediately looking to pass to kind of start the offense. You know, I see him more so being more aggressive, and he might come down, bam, I see this lane, I'm going ahead and take it. You know, and he just looked more loose, more precise in what he wanted to do. What's your take on that, PJ?
I think he's adjusted to the speed of the game. I think when we played against Kansas, more noticeably is that he's at one speed. He's quick. He got a good first step.
Yeah.
But also Kansas has a championship point guard who also is like defensive player of the year type guy.
Gotcha.
He's experienced. He wants you to play fast because he knows you're gonna make mistakes. But I think what I watched and what I've seen of him the last 2 games is the game is slowing down for him, and that's a great sign.
Yeah.
Overall, you look at it. I think right now we have
PJ make it sound like he belong on TV. Go ahead.
So we like number 1 right now when it comes to like the turnover assist ratio percentage, right? Like that right now by as far as how many shots we're shooting from 3, we're leading the country in percentage, right? Like the way this team is formulated, I think when you start seeing those shots fall, as like with him, it just gets better for everybody else because right now you have Reed shooting like 60%, which is crazy. You got Rob shooting 40+%, which I didn't even pick that happening. All you need for DJ is to shoot around 33, 35.
Yeah.
That's all you do. You don't need him to be a 50. Now, if he's 50, I'll take that every day. But you don't need to be that. And so I think you're seeing that the game's slowing down for him, which should only make us better. And that's why I think we have a really good team this year because our ceiling is still very high.
So let's go here because I hate that you guys aren't in the ACC SEC challenge. I was looking at your schedule and I noticed that you play Bellarmine next and not a SEC team. But so let's go ahead and talk about PJ. I'll go ahead and give you the floor right here to break down the Miami versus Kentucky game. What do you see happening there? What is the keys that Kentucky needs to win that game?
Man, I think this has the opportunity to be a very, very high level game because our teams are very similar in the sense that Miami is a guard dominated team. They're going to come out and make threes too. They're going to come out and make shots, take off the dribble. They have a center. I'm not going to say his name right. I think it's like Amori or something like that, who's undersized. He's about 6'7", kind of like what it is with Trey, but he plays the center position different than Trey does.
Gotcha.
I think he's also one of the best undersized centers, and their system that Jim Larinaga has them running has been really well. If you look at it, the last couple of years, they've had elite success compared to what Miami has been. Right? They've only lost in the NCAA tournament to the teams who end up going and winning the championship.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, that's the only team they lose to is the teams who end up going and win the national championship. In the ACC tournament, the only team they losing to is the team who wins the championship, which was Duke. Right, so like they have a good team. To return Nigel Pack and all those guys have a really nice team. We're favored right now, I think by 5 points. I think a shot up to about 6. I think the pace of the game, if we continue to play and shoot at the level that we're doing, it's a win.
Gotcha.
Of course, our big's still not there.
Yeah.
I think still changes up with Aaron Bradshaw. I think it's probably about not this game, but the next game he'll be playing, probably against Penn or something like that. But regardless of that, I feel like we have a good chance at I think it's a big game to win at home. Go ahead and get the home crowd rocking and pull off the dub. It should be a really high-level game, though.
I'll tell you, this is an interesting from Lit Terry. He said that Rob is the best playmaker. What you think about that?
I think I think it's valid. I think also when it comes to Rob, I think playmaking with Rob, I could say he's the better playmaker, but I also could say that I think it's easier to see with Rob because of how flashy he is. I think honestly Trey Mitchell might be our best playmaker because Trey Mitchell is so skilled out of the post. I think a lot of people talk about, especially the talking heads, about how difficult it is to guard us in the pick and roll now because you have a center who can literally pass out of the pick and roll, or he can pop and shoot, or he can take you off the dribble and get the best special on bigger guys, right? But he's also a really, really good passer. I don't think he's probably the best passing big we've had, man, in a very long time. I think Hunter Dickinson is a very good passer. Out of the double team, he sees a lot, but I think Trey, man, he can initiate the offense. You can literally initiate the offense through him. So I think us having Trey, DJ, Rob, Reed, all those different guys, even Reeves, who can play those type of initiating offense type of facilitating offense type positions, makes us what we are right now, which is one of the best assist turnover ratio teams.
So do you have Kentucky winning or losing against Miami? And Miami comes in number 8 team in the nation. You think we win?
I think we beat Miami tomorrow. I think we beat tomorrow. I think it's a really good game. They say, like I said, it went up to 6 points. I think 6-point favorite.
About 7.
It could be that. I think it's going to be one of those games where hopefully we have the lead. They might make like a little comeback at the end, and we push it off to finish it off about 5 or 6 points, hopefully.
Coach, what's your take on that?
Y'all not like your UK women. Y'all should be Miami.
UK women, I think. Hey, we need to go ahead and put that
new coach.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and put that job opening up. Go ahead and post that.
Might go get y'all's coach.
I'm telling you.
Please.
All right, hey guys. All right, so we didn't give any points in that little segment right there. So we needed that out of the way because Kentucky's getting ready to play. But I'll tell you this. This is a subject everybody can get in on because Kentucky and Louisville play within the month. It's coming up on the 21st of December, and I'm looking at Louisville's schedule right now. Here's valid question that I have for you. Start with Perry. You guys, leading up to that game, you guys have Bellarmine, which I mean, you guys lost last year. They're going to be tough for you guys again. You got Virginia Tech, DePaul. I'm sorry, but Arkansas State and Pepperdine. Do you think that anywhere in there, Perry, you guys can gain any kind of confidence that can help carry that over to the Kentucky game? Like, what do you? There has to be something that you guys can hold on to for that Kentucky game because it is a rivalry. Number one, number two. I mean, you guys are playing a little bit better. You guys got I'm not gonna say a favorable schedule because I don't know like the ins and outs about these teams. But do you think that you can grab a hold of something within that time to give you some mojo against Kentucky?
It's got to start with Bellarmine. And then Virginia Tech, that's going to be a fairly good coach team. I'm not worried about DePaul like I should be because we played them close last year. You know, it's going to be up in Chicago. But, I mean, it's there for us to reach out and get. It's there. I just don't think we have a good coach. I don't think we have an X's and O's guy. We've talked about this till we blue in the face. We don't have a guy that's capable of putting together a string of plays for his team, you know, and that's going to be the struggle with Mr. Payne. He's got to show he's better than what he is, and he's not. I hate to say that about the brother, but he's just not. I need to see him dominate some of these teams, and it's not going to happen. He's got talent. People keep saying we don't have talent. That's not true.
You've got more talent than you had last year. You definitely got more talent than you had last year.
Check this out. We got more talent than we've had in a while. You know, Patino's last 3 teams were really heavy with talent. One of those teams could have been a national title. Mac, he sort of thinned it out, but Mac could coach. He had a system. He had pack line defense. He had a pick and roll offense. He had motion. He had all of that.
So then why'd y'all fire him?
You didn't fire
him. He left on his own.
You forget. You don't know.
So let me ask you. So do you think?
Yeah.
But the common denominator with all those guys, Perry, the common denominator with all those guys is they played in a more structured system. With him, he's trying to play a dribble drive. He's trying to play more random.
We talked about it. He's trying to do Kentucky basketball with non-Kentucky players.
Gotcha.
Guys that are the hand-me-down players.
Yep,
and it's not going to work. Not for a rookie coach. Not for a rookie coach like him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Clark.
What's that?
You guys got Sky Clark.
Let the man finish.
The broke man's Kyrie Irving. Broke man's Kyrie Irving. Yes, we got Sky Clark. A guy that can dribble his way into and out of and back into trouble. Yes. But he's not what he needs to be.
Richard, give me something, man. Give me something. I need Louisville fans that got hope against Kentucky, man. You guys have a path, man.
You're not stepping into that trap.
You guys have a path, man. I'm telling you. Come on, man.
There's a solid reason why I did not answer your question. Do you want to go to the UofL UK basketball game? Like I said, I don't want to be the only two people in the arena yelling and hooping and hollering, because that's what it's going to be. Nobody's going to be in that game.
There's going to be a lot of people there.
All over the place.
It's going to look like Rupp Arena.
It's going to look like Rupp Arena.
Rupp Arena. What I'm
economy boom in the city of Louisville.
In the worst case scenario, what I'm afraid of is, like I said, we get all this false hope. Like I said, we have 3-4 games between now and the UK game. Mm-hmm. Nobody at the beginning of the season had any hope or inkling that we would ever compete with UK, especially after the way y'all held y'all's own against Kansas. And you came out that very podcast and you all talked about how the odds for UK winning the national championship was the number one choice. So yeah. I think this is going to be another beatdown. Hopefully Cal will show some mercy on Kenny and it won't be a 50-point beatdown. But at the end of the day, I wasn't using the UK game as any kind of bellwether to determine whether or not I think Kenny Payne should stay.
Gotcha.
Nobody at the beginning of the season had this game as he better win that game if he wants to keep his job. No, nobody had that. What they had is you're gonna beat Chattanooga, you're gonna not gonna go into overtime with New Mexico State. You're gonna beat all of these teams with some good performance and good basketball. So, like I said, if we beat Bellarmine, that's a plus that works in his favor. If we beat DePaul at DePaul, because DePaul is going to treat this like a Super Bowl for them, or a national championship.
Yeah, DePaul is actually one of the worst college basketball teams right now in the country.
They are, but when it comes to playing Louisville, DePaul is one of our old school rivals. Every time, there's always a thing on the board how DePaul wants to jump in there and be us. Okay, they kind of like. They kind of like our little baby Cincinnati when it comes to stuff like this. They always want to come at us. They always want to, no matter what kind of scrub team they got, they always want to make it a game with us. So, and this is going to be one of those teams that Louisville should get in there and beat down handily. But if he loses, it's going to be the heckles and the cries. There will be a website, firekennypayne.com.
You sound like in the previous podcast, it sounded like that y'all want to go ahead and buy the domain.
I said I was going to look, but somebody already got it, so they're probably waiting till he falls flat on his face. But I was using these 8 games at the beginning of the season, and then winning the games in the ACC that he's supposed to win, the scrub teams he's supposed to beat. That's what I was using, and I was hoping we'd get at least 15 wins to make it to the end of the season. I wasn't thinking we were going to make it to the NCAA tournament. I was saying if we get to the NIT, that's proof that he should keep his job and move on to the next level.
Well, I think the fans over here talking about how Louisville's trash and things, though. But hey, I know on the Kentucky side, there's no chance that Louisville would win that game.
That's all I got to tell y'all UK fans.
Don't lose to Louisville, man.
Because you're gonna see some people. Y'all
will get burned down.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Nah, that ain't happening. That definitely ain't happening. That definitely ain't happening. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. I mean, it's 10:11. We've been on here for over 2 hours now. I'm going to go ahead and call it. We could go on and on because there's more that we got to talk about on that. And we will next week. Join us here next week at 8 o'clock.
Right?
Yes, you do. Right? Yes. Well, hold on. Join us here again next week at 8 o'clock p.m. right here with Cats versus Cards. Now, on this one, Louisville has won the last 2 battles. This one, Kentucky's come through with the win on the battle. You see PJ up there right now. So Kentucky has 2 minutes on the clock to go ahead and talk about anything that you want to talk about. You can throw shots at Louisville, and Louisville can't do anything at all. I'm muting their mics right now. So 2 minutes starts right now.
So listen, first things first. First things first. We told y'all since we started doing the podcast, since I came on, that Kentucky was going to be Louisville. I was met with all kind of resistance about how Louisville was a different team. It's no longer Satterfield. It's nothing. You shouldn't have confidence. You should have that entitlement, right? That's the word y'all use.
Bunch of bums.
Entitlement that we shouldn't feel entitled. We're just going to win the game. And I told you, we're going to beat y'all. Went so as far as to even give you the point differential. And was right about all of it.
Exactly.
And on top of that, now y'all crying about how much we're talking about the win when y'all just showed us. Oh, don't let us win the game. Don't let us win the game. We expect that. But the difference is y'all not used to winning no more. So y'all forgot what it feels like to win against your rivals. So y'all just so much pain. So I bought all kind of tissue. I got look.
He brought tissues.
We hand it out to every single person. I just want y'all make sure y'all don't, do nothing.
I like that
Coach.
beat the back of your head.
Coach, he left you 45 seconds. Go ahead. Coach, are you with us? He left you 45. Well, you got less than 30 seconds now. Go ahead.
We gonna beat y'all we gonna beat the draws off y'all like Richard ain't wearing none now.
What the word? That's all he got to say. All right, guys. Hey, that's it. That's it. We're gonna call it up. We're gonna call it a night. Like I said, join us again, Cats versus Cards, right here at 8 p.m. every single Monday. We're live. Go ahead and be a part of the discussion. It makes everything so much more fun. And also, if you want to be on the show, go ahead and message me. You don't have to message me on Twitter. You can message me right here on Facebook. You can see whose page this is. You can even in the group, in the Cats versus Cards group, go ahead and message there. And go ahead and request, hey, I want to be on. I want to battle somebody. Go ahead and name who you want to battle if you want to. All right, just makes it even more fun. I want to appreciate everybody for joining today. Thank you, Coach, for coming in today. Thank you, PJ. Thank you, Perry, even though you turned off your camera. Thank you. Thank you, Richard. All right, till again.